Praise Yahweh. The joy is, the beautiful thing about this is what Yahweh has blessed me to understand, that He is everything and everywhere. And He's not bound and limited to one particular group, one particular entity. I can't pick up and leave out of this room and say, I'm taking Yahweh with me. Because you're Yahweh too. And Yahweh is with you just as He is with me. So it don't matter where I go on the earth, Yahweh is still with you. No matter where I'm at on the earth, wherever you at praising Yahweh, He's still with you. So I don't have to be with Peace Foundation. I don't have to be with Atlanta, Georgia. I don't have to be with Florida or in Orlando or Miami. I don't have to be with Third Day and wherever different parts of the earth they go to. I don't have to be with my family. I don't have to be with my mother or my father. I don't have to be with nobody but myself. Wherever I am, Yahweh is being praised. Wherever you are, Yahweh is being praised. You are a walking Yahweh. You are a talking Yahweh. I'm raising myself up from a dead mental state to be conscious of who I am. I'm teaching myself who I am. 144,000 is not made up with just one person. 144,000 is made up with 144,000 persons. Minds of Yahweh. This 144,000 is going to be doing the same exact thing as Yahweh ben Yahweh. They're going to be a copycat of Yahweh ben Yahweh. You're not going to be able to tell the difference between them and Yahweh ben Yahweh. So it's going to be like He resurrected, because He is resurrected. He done came and done put Himself in 144,000 bodies. So He came and built a civilization. It's up to the 144,000 now to build a civilization. Each one has to build a civilization. That's your duty. That's your job to do this. But we have those who can't do it. It's not that they really can't, they just won't. There's people on the earth who are really scared when you call them God. Whoa, don't put that title on me. I know, I done told her, I said, well, you say you a God. The scripture said you a God. Don't say that. He said, don't say that.
They get scared.
Yeah, they get scared. Don't say that.
Which is nothing but a title.
I'm not a God. Well, He said you're a God. It's the same book. He said, yeah, but further down it said you die like men. I said, yeah, but before you get to dying like a man, look at the fact that you're a God. You got to deal with that part first. You'll deal with all that later. All that dying like men later on in the scriptures, you deal with that later. But I won't go off on all of that. But where are you at when it comes to Yahweh in you? You know, where is your situation? See, because you have to be so strong in Yahweh to where if there was nobody, no radio stations, no television shows, P's wasn't publishing, Third Day wasn't doing the classes on the phone line, what would you do for Yahweh? How would you keep the Shabbat? How would you still be able to tell the time frame, the days, and all of that stuff? How would you do all of that? You have to be capable, because, see, back in Abraham's time, they didn't have televisions and all of that. So when they was on one part of the earth or one part of the land, it was just them. There was no way for them to communicate further out and find out, well, what's going on over there? You know, they had to wait for months for somebody to come to them and tell them what was going on there. But meanwhile, before the person or the group came to them, they had to be keeping the law themselves right then and there. So that when Yahweh came, like He did to them, He found them doing what He said for them to do. And the only way He was able to find them doing what He said for them to do is because it was already in them. Abraham didn't depend on nobody to do it for him. He didn't depend on nobody to teach it to him. He didn't depend on the radio station. He didn't depend on the telephone line. He didn't depend on P's to mail him something. He didn't depend on them. He did it himself. Yahweh talked to him about and told him about, he took it and exercised it in his family and in his household and within himself, his self. That's the way it has to be done. You know, before you came here in the flesh and everything like that, and when you came in the flesh as a baby, you're not conscious of what's going on. It's a nothingness. It's nothing, because there is no I, there is no ego to make you be like, that's me. You're not claiming yourself as something. You just learning, you're taking in, you in awe. You know, you're not even conscious that you exist yet, because you're just taking in. So things still seem dark to you, because you have no understanding of nothing yet. But then as you are growing in your child state and you start growing up and becoming more and more grown up, you start taking in more things and more things and more things. And you start, all of a sudden, you start changing what the initial plan is. You start doing something different. Now you start learning a bunch of stuff as you're growing up and becoming an adult, and start connecting yourself to stuff when you only supposed to be taking it to learn from it. You start connecting it and saying, that's me. You start saying, this is me. This is me. You start looking at all the different groups and all the different things that's on TV, and you say, that's me. So Yahweh said, you know what? I'm going to have a recycle moment. Because my children, white, black, Spanish, Puerto Rican, all of the dying, the death process, to where all the things that you claim was you, Yahweh takes from you at the moment of death. When you start to leave this earth, and your body shut down, and everything in your mind is starting to dissipate from your head, start leaving from your head, all the individual things, you go back to the moment in which you was as a child. You don't die. It's just your memory is being subtracted. And your memory of the individual things that you started claiming to be you when it wasn't you. See, before you became claiming those things, you had the knowledge in your head that you was all things. You was everything. You didn't limit yourself to one thing. There was no limit. You was all things. You was Yahweh. You was everything. But then you started connecting the things and saying that you are this small object. You took on a name and said you're this small object. You took on this and said you're this small object. So at the death process, you go back to becoming all things again. You release those things and leave whatever you did on the earth, if you did something. If you didn't, well, it's there. So now you have to start the process all over again. You become unconscious for a little bit, just so that you can incarnate, whether it be a baby or grown up or whatever it be. All of a sudden, you're going to start being conscious again. You're going to start feeling like you're getting that I ego back again. That's what we all the same. You or me, I understand it now. I'm so full of understanding now. I know I used to sit just like everybody in this room right now. I don't know. You might be understanding me, you might not. But I'm telling you, I used to really sit and didn't understand what Yahweh was talking about. Or when I heard people say, well, my L equals your L, Yahweh said, you are me and I am you. I didn't understand that. When I talked to the king, on the phone, and I was saying to the king, I said, well, king, the incarnating process, how does that happen? I'm bobbled like, how? Your body already existed and you already had thoughts going on in your head. I still didn't, he said little things to me, but I was like, I didn't understand. It wasn't meant for him to tell me. It was meant for me to get it the way Yahweh had an encounter with me and gave it to me. Because I truly understand now. I truly understand now. And I have no fear. Yeah, I don't want to leave this body. Nobody wants to leave the body and start all over again. It hurts to leave because you got to start it all over again. Mm-hmm. It's painful to leave because you got to start it all over again. And, it's painful to leave because all this process got to take place again. It's got to happen all over again. So, yeah, I'm going to go to the doctors when I'm having pain. I'm going to talk to the doctors and see what medicine I can take. I'm going to take herbs and everything like that so that I can be here to continue to. But if it comes to the point to where I can and I have to go, I am at a level to where I will suffice. I am ready. I will let go because I know that I'm not dying. I know who I am now. I had to study with them last night. I was telling them, I said, I really am happy with who I am now. I know who I am now. And I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied because everything that is me is happening in my life, and it's not happening on an accident. It's happening on purpose. And I'm happy to say that I'm purposely doing it. I'm purposely making everything happy. I'm purposely making you think what you think. I'm purposely causing you to see what you see about me. I'm purposely making you go off and think this and think that. I do it on purpose. Why I purposely sit back and just watch it all unfold, and it's scary, and then it's just Yahweh. I know now, and you think you feel like you Yahweh, which you are, but you feel like, oh my God, Yahweh, I tested it and it worked. It really worked. And then you come back and you sit with everybody and they don't understand, and you look at them and then it's so hard. You have to draw yourself back down. You got to pull yourself back down to realize, hey, calm down, Mr. Mighty. They thinking just like you was before you got this. You didn't create this. Yahweh just caused you to understand it. You understand now. So now to understand how you have to pull yourself back down. Pull yourself back down. Now you can look at Yahweh ben Yahweh on the video, and you can see him acting like he acting on that stage. And you can say, Yahweh, I understand. I understand, Yahweh. I understand how you had to be so patient with us. I understand why you possess no objects. I understand why you were so happy to let them possess them, because that's what they need. If you heard me, what I said on the 28th, and I said on the phone line, they got it on the recording, I said on the phone line, I said they all needed to go to the 28th album because that's what they needed. I said, I love you. I said it for the whole nation to hear. I said, I love you, but I don't need your flesh to make me happy. I didn't need to be there one bit, and everybody that came needed to be there. They had to be there. I've never seen Yahweh ben Yahweh. I don't need it. The Spirit is good enough for me. That is good enough for me, because I know and understand what the Spirit is doing to me. But before we get too deep in all of that, I'm going to draw it back down and keep going to what I just said about being patient. It's not about me. It's about me. Me. That's what it's about.